Rhoda was the nice girl who did not want to upset anyone.
What is it that happened and then you took a back seat and you said, no, this is not going to continue? What was that moment like?
So had left my workplace.
Okay.
So a restructuring happened and it was very murky and very political. So I left very bitter. It's until my marriage didn't work that I realized this thing is not work. Because all the while, it kept on making me feel the reason I'm getting promotions at work is because of this giving, this stretching. So for a long time, it worked, I kept feeling people are choosing me as their leader because I am giving. So until my marriage, when my marriage failed and I realized I gave and gave and gave and it didn't work. So really this giving is not of value. Is actually in the first 6 months, I went back to my mother's house because it was during COVID. Went to my mother's house in one room and I'm thinking, oh my God.
Didn't you have a friend you could talk to?
I was the friend people talked to. We are so used to routine and things happening every day. When that shifts, you kind of get confused. And I realized we get a lot of identity from what we do at work. So you're wondering, so what am I anymore? And I'm very clear that my assignment is mine. I'm not competing for space.
Wow, I love that.
I have an identity that is anchored on who has sent me here.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. Welcome again to another very impactful episode, the Rising Roots platform. My name is Damackline, and I'm so honored today to have a guest I have been chasing for quite some time. She's finally here. I will introduce her and then give her an opportunity also to tell us one or two things about her before we dive into the big conversation today. We actually set to discuss more, it's more of a general topic that affects across. Remember, our platform is about evoking growth, inspiring transformation, and laying basic foundation in children, our youth, and young adults among us. But today we are so open because the conversation we are about to have, it's something that touches across. Whether you're a child, a youth, or even an adult, it is something that will go a long way into supporting your personal growth. So we are set to do something on self-awareness, how we align ourselves into who we are supposed to be, or the purpose we were meant to accomplish in this world. So karibu sana to our show. Allow me to introduce Miss Roda, who is with us. Miss Roda, maybe you can say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. So Madam Rhoda Kariuki is an author, a public speaker, a consultant, educator, and leader with over 20 years experience in the financial services industry. Quite a lot. Throughout her career, she has held various leadership positions, both in the workplace and within her social circles. With a deep commitment to personal growth and empowering others, Roda has spent decades navigating the complexities of leadership, both professionally and personally. She now leads with a sense of purpose and dedicated to helping others unlock the same sense of alignment, joy, and fulfillment. Roda is a passionate advocate for authentic living and personal transformation. She believes that true transformation begins with internal alignment, and that when we live in harmony with ourselves, we will truly live a purposeful and impactful life. Now, if you noticed, I was actually reading from one of her books. She's an author. I usually ask my guests to share their profiles. And when I read her book, I saw whatever she's written. I decided this is what I'm going to use for her introduction. So, karibu sana, Madam Roda.
Thank you
Forgive me for always speaking too much.
Thank
yes,
you.
It's really a pleasure to have you in our show today. Maybe you tell our viewers one or two things about who is Rhoda, other than being an author, public speaker, consultant. What is this something that you have not, maybe you consider private, personal? And one fun fact about who Rhoda is.
Interesting. I'm a mom to one beautiful girl. Her name is Ava. And the one fun fact, I am very soon learning to ride the bike.
Okay.
I have never thought about it. It's just something I just thought this is one thing I should try.
Wow.
And just feel the wind, flowing.
I hope you don't fall down, because anytime I remember falling down, I don't think I'll ever try that personally.
It shall not be Anduthi. It shall be a proper bike.
A good one.
A good one.
I tell you.
Yeah.
Sawa sawa. So karibu sana to our show.
Thank you very much.
And straight away, I would like to take you to my first question. Who was Rhoda before the transformation? Because we are set to look at your book, actually. Now, our viewers, to Rhoda, we are soon selling this book. We want to sell 1,000 copies in a week.
That would be nice.
So who's Rhoda before the shift?
Rhoda was the nice girl who did not want to upset anyone.
Yeah.
So the golden girl. I mean, if you wanted anything to be done, please talk to Rhoda. She will get it done. If you press her sana, she may get annoyed but won't tell you. So the relationship continues. So I was really very agreeable.
Yes.
Sometimes I think I silenced my voice in a sense to build a relationship or to keep a relationship. So I'd rather not have those difficult conversations than break a relationship. So to me, a relationship was bigger than my voice. And therefore, I realized as I grew older that the very people I was trying to help and support were the same people I was feeling resentful about. And I was like, there's a disconnect here, because if I'm helping, if I'm being kind, then why am I feeling resentful? That's when I realized there's a disconnect. I'm not aligned internally with what I'm externally showing. So though I looked helpful and kind, I think now I call it people pleasing. That I didn't know where the boundary was. I didn't know where the line was. So I would stretch and overstretch, So not that giving is bad, but there's a line where it now becomes abandoning yourself. So that's where there was that blurry line. I couldn't tell where I began and where other people began. Yes.
Wow. Now, maybe you go deeper a little bit and share with us more of which are some of these areas you felt like you were overstretching, that if you were to go back to your younger self today, you wouldn't even think of doing that.
Many instances. Like I've written in my book, I could remember far back in high school. I mean, this girl, we are not in the same school, we are not in the same class. We're in the same stream, but different class. She's not even my friend, not a close friend, but we just know each other. And she was even in a different dorm. She'd come and borrow me money, and I'd give. And it's a little money you've been given in high school, and I'd give. And I'd give. I would struggle to say no. I was hoping she would now realize she's been asking for too long. She doesn't need to ask, So it goes very back. In the same high school, so I was this big girl. And so the biggest uniform I was given, the sweater was not
big
fitting.
In terms of
size.
Yes.
No, the size.
Okay.
So the sweater I was given by the school could not fit me. So I go with it to the dorm. And then one of the prefects, she's like in Form 3, I'm in Form 1, tells me, hey, how come you're not wearing a sweater? So so I say, okay, I explained what's the problem. So she asked me to give her. And she wore now a new sweater. And instead of giving me her old one, I continued staying without a sweater.
Wow.
Until my mom comes for visiting. She's like, how come you don't have a sweater? So I say it was small. So where is it? I gave someone. My mom could not believe.
Wow.
So that was it. I struggled to tell no to everyone, people, because they were not my friends, they were not anything. So I can remember how far that went. And I kept doing it over and over the years, so just trying to be pleasing, just trying not to upset anyone. So it costed me in some ways like those.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why? Because I'm like, didn't you have a friend you could talk to?
I was the friend people talked to. People always came to me when they needed help. Yes, they needed help. I had time for them. I wasn't struggling, to listen to them. So I'm the person. Actually, my sisters called me Auntie Tabby. There was a lady who used to write an article in the newspaper a long time ago.
Yes.
She was called Auntie Tabby. So I have that thing in me. People come to talk to me. So I never had a situation where now I'm the one requiring help. And, at that point, I used to feel like it was a sign of humility. Now when I look at it, because you see, it should be symbiotic. So I'm listening to you, but even me, when I have something, I share with other people.
Sure.
But now when I look at it, it sounded nice and helpful. But now when I look at it, it's pride, because I should be able to also ask for help when I need help. I should be able to also... when something is not working, to say, this is not working, how can I be helped,
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just that giving and giving without knowing where the line is.
Yes. Now, for how long did that run until when you realized now, things have to change?
It did for a long time. So sometimes I was firm, especially when I was a leader, even in high school.
Oh, you were a leader at some point?
Yes, I was a leader. I went up to a head girl in high school. So I'm very firm. I was very firm in certain things.
Yeah.
But when you ask something of me, that's why I was struggling. So I'm very firm in terms of this needs to be done.
Yeah.
But now when you now need help, I didn't know where to stop or how to say no. So I continued with that in the workplace. If someone is struggling, even in campus, we come into a group. If people are struggling, I'm the one who will compile. Yes, I'll feature for you. You can just joyride me. I'll be the one doing the compilation. So even in the workplace, so whenever someone is struggling and needs my help, I'm okay to help. So it went on.
Yep.
In my marriage, I tried, and I keep on saying, it's until my marriage didn't work that I realized this thing is not work. Because all the while, it kept on making me feel the reason I'm getting promotions at work is because of this giving, this stretching. So for a long time, it worked, I kept feeling people are choosing me as their leader because I am giving. So until my marriage, when my marriage failed and I realized I gave and gave and gave and it didn't work. So really this giving is not of value, and I keep saying now when I look at it, I needed that because I would have really become a very chronic people pleaser. So I needed it to not work for me to change that poor habit. It looked like a good thing, but now when I look at it, it's manipulation. Because if you have a healthy relationship, it should be a give-take. It's not one person giving forever, So I needed it to fail at one point for me to realize this thing is not working, it needs to die.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a painful way.
I know, you've gone. So it's something you worked with in primary school, you went with it in high school,
went
campus, then to the workplace.
And to my marriage also,
That must have been a lot.
We don't do no arguments. You see, if I'm the one who is struggling, we are fighting about this thing. It's easier for me to step down and to confront you, Exactly.
So you'd step down without confronting, without letting the other person know this is offending me.
I hated those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, it meant we were fighting and I don't want to fight. So for a long time, I didn't want to fight. I don't like confrontation. So what I didn't know is how to have difficult conversations and still save the relationship. So for me, I understood if we're having a problem, then what is at risk is a relationship. And
which you're protecting.
I'd rather not lose the relationship. So let me just step back. Let me step back. So you see, in that sense, I wasn't quite having authentic relationships or truthful relationships,
Yes.
So to me, they were more of transactional. So I am doing something nice so that we are able to retain this relationship.
I don't know whether to call it transactional, because even in a transaction, both parties benefit.
But I was now your friend.
In your case, you're benefiting them, but were you benefiting?
But you are still my friend.
Oh, the friendship.
Yes, you're still my friend.
Oh,
you will now not say I'm a bad person.
Oh.
So to me, I thought if you're not being kind, you're being selfish. I didn't know there was an in-between.
Yeah.
I call it nowadays the third way. So it doesn't have to be this, it's not black and white. We could have many shades of gray and still retain the relationships.
Wow. Now, I'll keep on referring to my questions because I really want us to give the best. So when you see me looking at my phone, I'm going through my questions. Now, I'm so interested to know, because you've said these things kept on happening.
Yes.
Happening. At what level now what is it that happened, and then you took a back seat and you said, no, this is not going to continue? What was that moment like?
Like I told you, when I left my marriage.
Okay.
So in between, I'd left my workplace.
Okay.
So a restructuring happened, and it was very murky and very political. So I left very bitter. And so probably that was the beginning, because I felt I'd given my all in this organization.
Okay.
How comes that was not enough?
Oh, yeah.
So
it was not voluntary?
No.
Okay.
I had stretched. I had never done a side hustle. So I didn't even know. When I left, I didn't even know what to do. I keep telling people the hardest things for me, the hardest day was a Sunday. Because I kept on wondering, so what am I doing tomorrow?
Oh,
what?
Yes.
And now when retirees tell me, Rhoda, I am stranded, I understand. Because, we are so used to routine and things happening every day. When that shifts, you kind of get confused. And I realized we get a lot of identity from what we do at work. So you're wondering, so what am I anymore? I was head of customer service when I left.
Wow.
So now who am I? How do I introduce myself? A lot of my identity was anchored in my workplace. So when that ended, then along the way, got into financial challenges. Our house was auctioned. Then a few years later, the marriage ended. So I'm sitting here, marriage ended, no stable income, a house auctioned, back to renting. Actually, in the first 6 months, I went back to my mother's house because it was during COVID. Went to my mother's house in one room, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I am 42 years. How do I start all over again?
I know.
Yeah. And I didn't even know what the problem was. I didn't even know that I had a people-pleasing problem. I didn't know. I just knew I had been in this space. Actually, I felt offended. I felt like God had not been fair, because I had tried. And I mean, God tells us to give. I didn't even know where the boundaries were. And I thought God should have saved me. I mean, if I had tried, he should have.
Yeah.
So I was in this space, angry and annoyed. And as I was trying to look for help, you go to social media, look for help, find something. That's when I came across a program that supports people who are going through difficult marriages, separation, and divorce.
Okay.
And that's where I enrolled. And that's when I started looking. Because you see, when I left, it was all of it together. I couldn't tell which bit am I struggling with.
Yes.
Is it anger? Is it grief? Is it shame? So the program helped me to break, let's deal with this today. Let's deal with this tomorrow. For a whole 13 weeks.
Yeah, small portions.
I now started getting the tools to learn to break things up, So I keep saying that program was my savior. And also it gave me a safe space. So we are like 6-7 ladies together. We sign a confidentiality clause. So you cannot divulge information you learn about someone else to someone else outside. So that safe space allowed us to process truthfully. So you're not hiding some parts and leaving some parts. So it is in that you finally ask yourself, okay, this has happened, but how is it that I could have also made a situation worse? Not taking responsibility about the other person, but what are the areas that even I needed to improve on? So when we started asking those questions, that's when you realize, hey, even me, this discussion I should have had. I should have raised this. I should have spoken about this. I should have contacted so and so. So you start seeing...
Should have not kept quiet for long.
Exactly. You start seeing even you had a responsibility in some way. You made a situation that was bad worse by not doing certain things. So that gave me the tools to start looking at my life and start asking exactly, what am I feeling now? What am I going through? So that started our process. That was in 2021. Yeah. So that started a practice in me of starting to, look at it and and finally find some sense of stability in it.
Okay. I think I'm stuck somewhere back there, and I would really want you to clarify. You mentioned there was a time you lost your marriage.
Yes.
At the same time, you had lost your job, so there was a financial.
Yes. Financial challenges.
Yeah. To some point, you had to go back to your mom to shelter there.
Yes.
I don't know. What was life like during that moment for you?
Difficult.
Yes.
Difficult. I felt like I was in a hole. The way. So it starts with the restructuring, and I'm now losing my job. So you think that's one thing, and before you deal with this, then something else comes up. So it's like you're going down a hole, And I remember telling my sisters, it's like you're going down the hole, unajaribu kujishikilia nyasi as you go down, so that it's not, ukishikilia hiyo inang'oka. Bado ndio umeteremka. But I remember, so at one point I was talking to my sister, and she tells me, Jambi, probably God is allowing you to go through this so that you can help someone else. And I remember telling her, I have not refused anyone. I just don't want to go through this anymore, But now when I look at it, I now appreciate that sometimes you need to go through a situation so that you get it. Now when I speak to someone else who's going through a difficult marriage or a financial challenge, it's not theory. When I tell them, I understand you, I truly mean it. When I tell them, it shall be better, they can believe me because they know I have been there. Because sometimes, we speak to people theoretically and tell them, this is happening, this is the way life is, and, But when you've gone through a situation, actually, the way I look at it now is that it allows you now become qualified to speak to people in that space. If you've never gone through a situation, you have no authority to tell people what to do or share your opinion.
100%.
Exactly. Because people feel like you're laughing at them. They'll wonder, how do you know? And you've never gone through a situation like this. So situations can be difficult, but they're the very reasons that we are able to reach out and support other people and give them hope. But another important thing is that that's what builds us. We'd want to be built in comfort and, in a soft life and all. But real building is when things are tough. So you're crushed.
Because sometimes I've been in some situation in the past. I'm like, God, if you were to teach me, if there was a lesson you were to teach me through this, I have surrendered. Is there not a way you can teach me without having me to go through this? But you bring it very well that it is until you go through, you experience, then you're now able to stand up with someone and tell them, I went through this and here I am today doing really good.
Exactly.
So I really love that. But then now, health-wise, because I'm trying to look at Miss Roda, she's lost her job, she's lost her marriage, she is going back to her. Health-wise, were you hospitalized?
No, I thank God.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
No headaches, nothing. Those diseases, you go to the hospital, unapimwa hii, hakuna ugonjwa.
No.
Kumbe ni depression. Not
I
even
thank God.
depression.
There were seasons I was very sad.
Yeah.
And almost getting desperate, but health-wise, nothing. No blood pressure, no blood sugar.
You had
I have
people
never
around
gone
you.
to hospital for those 5.5 years now since I left my marriage.
Wow.
I thank God. I thank God. God has been faithful. I think he allows certain things and also takes care of us in certain areas. And I'm grateful. I really, really am grateful to God.
You must have had so many people around you to walk you the journey.
My family, my parents and my sisters, they used to pray for me, because at one point I was just telling them, I'm tired, I am not praying anymore, because you keep feeling like you pray, it gets worse. There was a time, I'm telling you, you tell me there are prayers in Adriva, I shall be in Adriva. There are prayers in Mulolongo.
Yes, during that time or before?
Before the marriage ended.
Yes.
So when the house is being auctioned, and of course, by this time, we're struggling financially, the marriage is struggling.
Yes.
I was everywhere. You tell me, Thika Road, kuna
Maombi.
Me, I no longer blame those people who leave their houses in Western and go to Shakahola. I mean, usually there's something really pushing you and you're desperate. You're desperate for a solution.
Now, at some point, did you see these things coming? Did you see, you said for the job, you never saw it coming to an end because you gave your best.
Yes.
To your marriage, did you
I kept hoping we'll be able to recover. You keep thinking it's because of the financial challenges we are facing that we'll be able to recover this. We shall somehow. And God is a miraculous God. For a long time, I did not even see an exit. I kept on hope. And that's why I was going for this prayer. So you're on this side, you're on this, praying for a miracle.
Wow.
Until COVID happened. And so you see, before COVID, we almost lived like a rat race. Unaamka mapema, unarudi jioni. So you have very little time together.
Yes.
When COVID happened and you're put together for a whole day, another day tomorrow, that's when you realize this thing ended. This thing, we can't cope. We can't
go back.
It can't be saved. It can't be saved. It's very, very painful. But that was it. And we don't realize how much career and finances and marriage are a big part of identity. That's majorly you, So when all these things are shaken off, it really leaves you empty. It leaves you wondering, so who really am I?
Yes, and that question is very difficult.
Exactly. And so when people ask you, so what do you do? So introduce yourself. You're struggling. You're wondering, what do I say I am? Who am I now? So actually, that's what started the question. And when I was writing the book, the message that kept on, because initially, when I kept thinking, I've got to get out of these financial problems that I have. So what do I do? So I'm doing financial advisory at that time. But what else do I do? Because I'm desperate. I need to get out quickly.
You never thought of going back to class to teach?
No, I know I am a teacher at heart, and I'll explain.
Yes.
But I never thought of teaching. So I thought, there are all these lessons I've learned. I'm now 42, going to 43. What can I tell the younger person who is Roda, who was younger at 25? So she doesn't have to go through and learn all these lessons in her 40s when she should be consolidating her finances. It's when she's starting all over again. So that's how the book started. So I said, 25 lessons I should like to tell to my 25-year-old Roda. So that's why it started. So I'm trying to put pieces together. Then you say again, I don't have time to sit and write because I should be looking for money. So it took me a long time to try and put things together. But when I now finally sat in 2023, the message that kept on coming is you're worthy, you are dignified. And that's a message I kept feeling. I need to tell people that it doesn't matter what you've lost. You still are worthy. You haven't lost who you are. Like I told you, I was struggling in introduction and all these things. You haven't lost what you are. And this book, I tell people, helped me know that I have everything I need to build my future. So for a long time, I cried about, I might have property that I cannot sell. I don't know this. My house was auctioned. I lost my job. So I kept speaking about stories of losses.
Negative.
But this book helped me realize what I need to build my future. I still have. I still have, because I wrote it with just what I have. You know, I didn't, it was nothing from the past that, you know, I used. So I still have what I need to build my future. And that's what I'd like to encourage everyone, that whatever you need for your future, you still have. You still have. There are many things you may have lost, but you still have something. And even God, that's what he asked Moses. What do you have in your hands? You know, and it's the same question God is asking us. What do you still have? Because that's what he wants to use to build your future on. And it's to allow what was lost to just be lost. It's okay. That season has ended. And now move into the next season. It's not easy, but what's the other option? That's what I kept on asking myself. What's the other option? You know, I could sit here and I have a daughter who I'm educating and taking care of, and keep on narrating a story of, you know, whatever happened. There's also another option of saying, okay, it ends now. I am moving forward. I am moving forward. And I think sometimes you need to be at that desperate situation of saying, I cannot live like this. This is not sustainable. I cannot live like this. I've got to move on.
Wow. Now, you see, this brings that sense of you don't need someone to walk you the journey. Because when I listened to you speak and when I read your book, there was that, turning point. We have mentors, yes. But when you're in that, you know, in that, we call it a hole. If you wait for someone to come and lift you up, you're likely to stay there. But it is until you yourself, you say, enough is enough. I like the example you've given. You have a daughter. It is either you feed her negativity about your past. This didn't work. I blame your dad because of this. I blame your school because of this. I blame everything. And she picks, you know, they grow picking that. And she's likely to go through the same. Or you decide and say, I have a daughter I have to raise. I have that daughter I have to school and give her my best and protect her. Now grows into that person living in her own purpose.
I like what you've said. It's a decision you must make.
It is.
Other people will come and help you, but they'll only move you into the direction you've already decided to move.
Okay.
You know, so you have to say, okay, this is where I want to go. God will send people to help you, but that decision
has to be from within.
Yes, and it's not a choice. You're not choosing to say, okay, I'm choosing this over the other. It's a firm decision of saying, this is it. I am leaving everything behind.
Okay.
You know, a decision, you cut off everything else. Is to say, this is where I am now moving. Because a choice, you could say, okay, today I want a black pen. Then tomorrow I could change and say, I want a blue one. But a decision is saying, I'm taking this black pen, cutting off everything else. And moving on with this black one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Now someone is seated there and is watching you and is wondering, so what exactly did she do to have that turnaround? Because when I've read your book, by the way, it's so nice. Tutaiweka hapo hivyo watu waione. It brings that aspect, like you are living in a false identity. Then there is now Miss Roda who came and said, no, this has to stop. How did you shift?
Like I said, the divorce care program helped me, gave me a tool to start, because one of the things we must do is sit, journal, ask yourself what's happening.
Yes.
So what I did even after was to go on with that practice. So every day ask myself, so I call it the golden moment of solitude.
Yes.
So I think that if I can say one practice that has changed my life, it is that. That dedication to listen to myself, to ask myself, why am I struggling with this? Why is it that I feel a certain way when I'm dealing with Damackline? Why is it that Ezra and I, when we work very well together?
Yes.
You know? So listening to myself, I think that's what I hadn't done for a long time. I just moved. You just keep moving, keep getting advice from everyone else, but never really stopping to have that conversation with yourself and make it a daily practice. When I was in that period of searching for answers, I came across a quote from John Maxwell, and he says, God is waiting for you So book an appointment with him
Wow.
and run to God. So keep that appointment. So if you decide, I will be having this appointment with God every day from 6:30 to 7,
Wow.
he is waiting.
Yes.
The only person now required to attend is you. And make it as serious as any other appointment, that I have to go for this appointment. And it doesn't matter what that meeting is all about. So today you could go and you're just grumpy. God, I have come, but I'm not happy. I do not even think you have been listening to me. That is
Yes,
day
I
one.
love that.
You know? So day 2, I come. Today I am crying. I don't even say a single word. That is day 2. Day 3, what you realize is slowly by slowly, you are now growing. Slowly by slowly, you also learn to listen to yourself. Because it's not enough for other people to know on your behalf.
Yes.
It's important for you to know something for yourself. So when you say, like, I remember when I was writing the book, I'd be so confused why I'm stuck. And I'm like, I need some direction. So I'd be stuck for several days. So I'd be going, I'm like, Lord, I don't know what to say.
Yes.
I have this idea, I have this idea, I have this idea. Then one day in those sessions, I will know something comes and I'm very clear. This is the direction I need to take. So that's the knowing I am saying. So you need to know and know for sure that you know this is the direction. And I think for a long time, that's what I didn't do.
Listening. I love that.
Listen to God. Because I kept on wondering. People would say, oh, God has spoken to me. And I'd wonder, why isn't he speaking to me? So, but God speaks to us in different ways. For me, it's in the quiet.
I love the fact that you bring in God. In fact, when I was, perusing through your book, and there was a whole page you've written there, a Bible verse.
Yes.
Be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10. I stopped a bit and said, wow.
That has been my change over.
Now
verse.
tell us, who's Rhoda today? If you were to go back to your younger self,
yes,
how would you describe, or what will you do that you have learned today? So you can start by telling us who's Rhoda today, who wakes up in the morning and dresses up and walks out of the house. And then what will you tell that your younger self who was struggling with pleasing people?
Roda has learned why she's here. Okay? So she's here for a specific assignment. And I'm very clear that my assignment is mine. I'm not competing for space.
Wow, I love that.
I have an identity that is anchored on who has sent me here. You understand? So I am just Rhoda. Actually, I tell people I am just Rhoda. So I am Rhoda, one of a kind, because I'm here on a specific assignment. So you see, that identity then becomes my anchor. So I show up now fully. So I'm not showing up and wondering, Damackline should have had someone else here. I'm like, my presence here matters.
Yes.
And I will make a difference the way only I can make a difference. If Damackline brings someone else, that would be someone else. It is not Roda.
Yes, I love that.
You know? So just that understanding that I am of great value. And it's not that I'm valuable than other people.
Yeah.
But I am of value.
It's about you.
I am of value, and what I bring is of value. So I show up differently.
Yes.
For a long time, I was scared. What will people say? Even when I was writing the book, I was struggling with... the first manuscript I wrote was like a textbook. Give advice, but nothing about me. Because, I didn't know how to be authentic. I didn't know what bit of vulnerability I could bring out. So that's why I keep saying this book changed me fast. Because the more I wrote now, the more I realized there are some things that I had also not dealt with. Because I realized when you write something and bring it outside, it's now out of you. What happens is it's like there's something else now that is replaced. Then you bring that one out also. Like for a long time, I didn't even know what I struggled with when my house was being auctioned. It's not that the bank is unfair and all those things. It's that I felt shame. Just knowing that what I struggled with was shame was big for me. So just naming what is it that I'm going through. So writing has helped me even name the emotions that I was going through.
And then you feel relieved.
Exactly. And also realizing all these things that were painful, are what makes me who I am today. I am showing up as a product of everything I have gone through.
More stronger.
Exactly. But carrying everything. Carrying Rhoda, who was a banker, carrying Rhoda, who was auctioned, carrying Rhoda, who was bullied, everything. So it's important that I show up fully because that's who I am. That's who I am. And the fact that I have unique skills, I have unique gifts, I have unique experiences just makes me more suitable for that specific assignment that only I can do. Wow. Because no one else, the set of skills and experiences and the talent that I have, so, and I think that gives me value to know I am bringing in something different just because of who I am, and I worried about, what people will say, especially in social media. I was struggling because when I was writing, the lady was like, you've got to start social media. And I was thinking, social media is not my thing. The last time I was there was like 2 years ago, and I only said happy birthday to myself, and I don't even put my photo. That you go and look at a photo that has a birthday message and attached. That was me in social media. But I said, it's hard to do this, but what is even more hard is to regret later and wonder what if I had tried.
I love that.
And for so long, I was keen on getting things right. I have to be seen a certain way. So I was keen on being perfect. Now, I am not worried of making a mistake. It's okay. I want to make a mistake.
Okay.
If this is going to be a mistake, I can deal with that. I think also dealing with things that fail also help I survived this one. Even this one, I can survive. I will survive. I
understand. I know that very well. I love the fact that you've brought that angle, that it's what you go through that makes who you become in the long run.
Yes.
Now, have you ever found yourself blaming someone, feeling like if so-and-so had done this, I wouldn't have gone through?
Yes, of course. Even, let me start with the workplace. I felt... I could name names, even some I've mentioned in the book. I mean, not their real names, but I felt this person jilted me, they should not have done that. And even when my house was being auctioned, it was being auctioned by people I knew. They were my colleagues, So I felt bad. I mean, it's human to feel this should not have happened. And even my marriage and my struggles, I at one point felt if he had tried this. But you see, at the end of the day, going through everything, now I realize I needed that.
You needed it.
I needed it. I didn't see it then. And does it make it fair? No, it's not. It's not fair. What someone else did was not fair.
Your teachers, your parents, would you blame them? Especially when you are the little you, still not yet exposed to the real world, but like you don't get to a place and you feel like, my mom or my dad, had they exposed me to this, maybe I would have known how to handle my friends, or your teachers in school probably. Had they taken us through this, maybe I would have grown differently.
I'm not sure because I am a mother now.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I try and do my best.
As a mom.
As a mom.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure if my daughter is asked, she'd be thinking, Mom is this, Mom is that. She doesn't listen, she doesn't. Yes. So being a parent myself, what I have realized is that our parents did the best they could with what they knew, And so I think that's what I'd say. They did the best.
They did their
best.
They
did the best. As a child, when you're younger, you kind of feel, oh, Mom is too harsh or this and that. And also, one of the things that I also realized is that our parents took care of us probably until we were 18. And when we went to college from a distance, because we were in boarding, until we were 22 or 24. Let me even say 24. So I'm now 47. So for 23 years, it has been me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it would even be wrong to blame a parent at 47 and say this should have been. Because I have had a longer period to correct. It's like now if you decide to adopt a child who is 6 years, there's some damage that has been done probably, but going forward, you take responsibility.
Yes.
And I think that's how, even in my book, I've called it self-parenting. A big time, it has been me as an adult taking care of myself. But you see what happens more often than not.
Yeah.
So you leave your parents' home and get married, and you now transfer responsibility to the other person. So you're always expecting other people to take care of you. And people will call it self-care, others will call it self-leadership. I like calling it self-parenting, because a parent tries to balance everything. So am I parenting myself? Am I a good parent to myself? Sometimes I'm too critical. A parent, you cannot be always critical of your child.
Yeah.
You have to balance. Am I showing myself compassion when I'm going through a difficult time? Am I my worst critic? Am I the one telling, Rhoda, you should have done, you should have done? I wouldn't do that to my daughter. If she's going through a difficult situation, the best I can do at that point is show compassion. How often do we show compassion to ourselves? Or internally, are we always criticizing ourselves? Again, as a parent, sometimes you spoil your children. But there are times you are strict to your children and you're like, this cannot go on. How strict am I with myself? Another important thing, when I say I will do something for myself, do I do it? Or I'm the first person to break my own promises. And I keep expecting other people to do things for me. What am I doing for myself? When I say this is what I want to do, how aggressively do I follow that? So I think at one point we have to take responsibility and parent ourselves, because we are the adults now. Take care of ourselves.
Well, I love the angle you've taken, and I'm tempted to ask you now to talk to me as a mother. I'm having 3 girls, and sometimes I look at them, I'm like, and the generation of today, you have to have boundaries, even when you're correcting them, because if you overstep, they resent. There is a space you just have to, yes, you're correcting them, but you look at them and you see what is going on is the media. Their generation, they learn so much from the media. They listen to others through social platforms. So when you come with your rules and your expectations, they are comparing you with, and they're likely to reject, and you're likely to lose them. So there is this balance that we really are looking forward to. I know there are parents who will be watching this. I'm a parent myself. So maybe one statement, an advice you will give me on parenting my children, because sometimes I'm scared of them being bullied. Do you know, at some point I've had to sit down and give them lessons on how to defend themselves. When they're bullied. But I don't know sometimes how to do it the right way. Because sometimes you speak and you're like, if someone punches you, punch them back. Stand for yourself. Is it the right thing?
I'm not sure. I'm the authority on because I'm also a mother.
Yes.
But I can share.
Yes.
I can share what I've realized is is a good practice.
Yeah.
I have realized the best thing a mother can do for their children is to take care of themselves.
Wow.
Is to take care of themselves. The mother I was when I was in the middle of all this chaos is not the same mother I am today.
Yes.
So taking care of myself and making sure I am healed, making sure I am processing what it is I'm going through now gives me room to stretch out to other people. Because sometimes we use our children as extension of ourselves. So I'm a single mom and I don't want shame. So I am dealing with my child to avoid shame. So even the discipline I am disciplining is to avoid shame. So, but if I let it free, I understand I'm a mother. We like saying single, married, I don't know. I am just a mother. So I'm just a mother who can make mistakes. But I will make an effort to work on myself so that next time I have a conversation, it is not a polarized conversation, or it's not because I am scared,
Yes.
but it's out of love. And it's a journey. We never get it 100%, but I've had to ask myself, because children, do things, especially at wrong places. When you've gone visiting, they have dressed a certain way, or they say a certain thing. So at that point, am I angry because I am ashamed, or am I angry because it was actually wrong?
Yes.
Sometimes it's the embarrassment that makes us, go a notch higher in terms of discipline. And not if that child did the same thing in your house, how would you behave? But this, because it's been done in someone else's place, now you push it a notch higher, So I think understanding that these children belong to God, understanding that they are independent from us, and we are custodians, we are stewards, then we handle it differently.
Yeah.
We don't get it perfect all the time, but we have grace, we have help.
Wow, that marks the end of our first session, and I'm so excited because I've picked 2 points that, trust me, I'm going to start using them today. Number 1, learn self-awareness. Self-awareness comes through learning, relearning, and then there is the third one.
You have to unlearn.
Learn, unlearn,
and then relearn. Yes.
And then you get to understand who you are on self-awareness. Then the second one that has just stood out for me is love yourself first. Know how you treat yourself first. And then it helps you to give out the best to the people around you. Thank you so much. We wish to have our first session and at that point, and we are coming in for our second session, which is mostly on finances, because you have been an expert for 20 years. We'd really love you we would love to learn from those money mistakes we make on a daily basis. So thank you so much, our viewers. See you in our series 2 of Miss Roda. Thank you.